Somewhere, deep down in the depths of Pentaxtopia, dwells an ancient society, unseen by modern camera enthusiasts for over a decade. They are uncontaminated, untouched by modern photography craze. They are the 6 Megapixel Club. I first found out about this elite group while browsing through my favorite Pentax Forums, and with the lack of news or anything remotely interesting from the brand for quite a while, I had plenty of time to poke around some of the other areas of the forum. It began with a man named Paul in 2017 who posed this question: who's out there shooting with this 6 megapixel relic still? Despite what you're thinking, there were more than 2 replies. In fact, there were hundreds of them. And that's where I got interested. My first DSLR was a Pentax K-1d, released in 2008 with its absolutely ludicrous resolution of 10.2 megapixels. Even with my affinity towards that camera that exists to this day, I recognize that it has some significant drawbacks when compared to more modern cameras. It's hard to imagine anyone intentionally shooting with an even older sensor, and of course, that intrigued me. Fast forward to early this month when I happened upon this eBay post. As you can see, it was not for a Pentax ME. I even messaged the seller to confirm this, and they admitted to not knowing much about the cameras, but that what was pictured was what was for sale. Well, for less than this, I couldn't resist pulling the trigger. It turned out to include, among other things, a working Pentax DL, I don't really know how to say that, the second iteration of Pentax's first DSLR, boasting that 6.1 megapixel sensor of the past. My ticket to the club. Working with the camera was almost an immediate joy after I got used to the older menu systems. Generally speaking, everything was right where I expected it to be, and I was thrown into nostalgia of remembering my K-200D and beginners of DSLR photography. I actually really liked the double A's. Call me crazy, but these things lasted forever. The autofocus speed of these lenses that came with it was somewhere between this and this. But when I put some more expensive glass on, the camera really began to shine, and surprisingly I almost forgot I was shooting a 14-year-old camera. I say almost because there were some quirks. After shooting 2 or 3 raw images in succession, the camera took a noticeable amount of time to buffer, though it may have been the SD card I was using. Oh, did I mention? I'm fortunate to have this DL version that has an SD card slot instead of CF cards, because I don't own a single CF card. Is it crazy to still be shooting with an old digital camera in this day and age? I'll let these images speak for themselves. Beyond the quirkiness of shooting with these early generation DSLRs, there's a deeper lesson being taught about photography that I began to pick up on from these 6 megapixelers. First, some of the pictures are downright stunning, and perhaps some of that has to do with the photographer having to work more to get the shot. That little bit more thought and effort, I believe, becomes evident in the pictures. Second, and perhaps most interesting, were the amount of shots that were okay, but not particularly memorable. Shots of seemingly ordinary life events, like walking around the house, etc. You may think that to be somewhat boring and unseemly to scroll through. However, I actually found this refreshing because what I saw were good photographers using good rules and techniques of photography to capture images that I don't see anymore, what with the culture of Instagram and other online photography sharing websites. Nowadays, if you didn't go to Iceland to see the Northern Lights, you better not even post it. We want stunning, jaw-dropping, dramatic images, edited to look like they fit in a cinematic thriller. That can be intimidating, exhausting, and actually stifling to creativity. You see, these people aren't seeking likes or followers, but are completely immersed in the fundamental joy of photography, the ability to capture and tell your story, how you want to, and share it with others. And while I'll be passing this camera on to somebody else, I'll take this lesson with me. The simplistic wonder of photography that I learned from a 14-year-old camera and the 6 Megapixel Club. Thanks for watching.